What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is up 2.08%, 1841 the low, 1898 at the high. So we are seeing a lot of volatility, although low volume. So 9.4 million shares being traded, 62 is the average. So of that 9.4, there's almost about 2 million shares associated to shorts. So shorts at the time of doing this video are increasing 1.88 million shares. 31.2% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 114 million shares overall being shorted. So SoundHound's doing very, very well considering shorts are kind of throwing a lot at it this morning. Of course, the market is very hyped up because of this. Even aside from this, going into today, we did have Intel's earnings, which were on point. So the market generally, I think, was going to be hyped up because of that. But we did get CPI coming in better than anticipated. So month over month, it came in at 0.2. So the core forecast was 0.3. And then the year over year was flat. So nonetheless, this was good. Michigan consumer sentiment came in at 53.6, and then a lot of the S&P composite manufacturing and services data all were fairly good, all above the forecast. So 54.8, 54 is that forecast, 52.2 for the manufacturing, 52.1, and then 55.2 versus 54.3. So all very, very good. As a byproduct of that, you do see a small chance now of a no cut, so 3.3%. But given that this is coming out next Wednesday, I do feel that this is going to be a sure thing. So most likely the market's actually starting to fully price in that 25 basis point cut, because even leading into today, we were kind of still hesitant. We didn't really have, because of the shutdown, a lot of key data, but with CPI coming out today, that's kind of confirmation that we will be getting a cut. And then over and above that, though, for the following meeting for the December 10th, you do have a 95.9% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. So a lot of the data that was kind of came out today is really affecting more the December meeting rather than the upcoming one. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from that, SoundHound has put out some news, so my apologies, I'm not doing all that much in SoundHound videos. But we did have this that came out, that was on the 22nd. So they did announce the date of their Q3 earnings. And so that's going to be slated for November the 7th. November the 6th. I don't know where I got 7th from, but closer to that date, I'll be doing a little bit more of a deeper dive on some expectations. Current estimates, though, are -3 cents for the earnings per share, 40.48 million for the revenue. Over the last 90 days, you have 1 positive and 4 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So I feel like this earnings is going to be key in order to really propel it back into that $20 range, or potentially set it back to 16. It's going to be a very big deal, this one. But based on the last fireside chats, it looks like management was is very optimistic about this one, similar to the last earnings, so the Q2 earnings. So it should be a fun time. Over and above that, though, they also did put this out on the 22nd, so a new strategic partnership. So this is good. This is exactly what they mentioned in Q2 was going to occur, that more and more partnerships, but they were very excited about Q4, which we are currently in. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more of these types of strategic partnerships. Of course, I think everyone still really wants to hear about McDonald's. I guess they did technically get McDonald's through that kind of third party, which kind of manages McDonald's, but for the most part, I think just people are very hyped up over SoundHound. So like I said at the beginning, SoundHound's doing very good considering it is getting kind of heavily shorted. So interesting stuff. When it comes to the options, we're seeing 3.4 million in calls, 772,000 inputs. 45% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. So this kind of matches with the lower volume on the common stock. So goes to show that people are just kind of waiting on the sidelines. Expected move from their upcoming earnings is going to be roughly around 20%. So anticipate a lot of volatility. So almost a $3.50 move in either direction is anticipated. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $19 to $20 range by today. So still a lot of optimism. Going into next week, you see more 21 plus. So that should be a fun time. And then aside from that, though, the bears are anticipating for it to be sub $18 and then potentially even as low as 16 going into next week. So you are seeing a little bit of a divide. These are some of the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So a lot of big money is getting into SoundHound today. And I'd much rather see this, institutions actually buying and trading SoundHound rather than just artificially done through algorithmic trading. When it comes to the dark pool, what I'll do is I'll switch it to the 24th. So these are some of the big ones for today. Of course, dark pool is often enough used by shorts and other kind of hedge funds. So the fact that shorts are increasing just shy of almost 2 million shares, it is fair to assume that most of this is linked to them. So the big one for today is 2.4 million. Right now with it at 1856, it is trading right below this R1. So 1860 is going to be that key pivot. Best case scenario, it does close above that. So just kind of watch for that. I'm looking at this on a 1-day chart on a side note. So a lot of these are very strong support and resistance points. If you're wanting more of a closer knit type of viewpoint to day trade or whatever else, looking at the 4-hour, so it is trading between this pivot and this S1. So 17.99 is going to be a strong support. I don't really see that being touched whatsoever. And then 1966 is going to be the next strong target. And similarly, I don't really see that being touched on a side note. And there hasn't been any new analyst ratings or anything like that lately. So it has just been more linked to the technicals and broader market optimism. On the actual chart itself, so you do see right now it is still below that 10-day moving average. So best case scenario as well, in the next couple of trading days, it does get above that 1930. Then that way you can kind of see a nice push higher. Most likely we'll be kind of pushing that closer to the Fed decision rate. So somewhat just be kind of aware of that. Aside from that though, looking at the market position, you see a lot more willing buyers today versus yesterday. As far as the willing sellers, not really much changed. It kind of just went down a little bit, but if SoundHound is able to get above that like 1930 range, then you could see a very nice push higher to at least that 2059. So we kind of had that similar price action that was mid-October when it had that nice push higher right here. There hasn't really been that much in articles coming out associated to SoundHound or anything like that. Like I said, no new analyst ratings. Most likely once we do get their upcoming earnings and that all said and done, then we should have some pretty solid ratings coming out. I know there's a lot of big names that are kind of on the sidelines just waiting, such as even right here. So Wedbush, Daniel Ives, very big fan of SoundHound. He has them as one of his top 30 innovative stocks in his ETF. Even though he did recently downgrade it in May from 22 to 15, it's still clearly on his radar. He likes it. And so with this upcoming earnings, you could see some, like I said, $20 plus ratings coming down the pipeline, which will be seen as very optimistic by Wall Street. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. So I think the technicals are looking pretty A-okay, and a lot of good partnerships coming down the pipeline. So I think their upcoming earnings will be that catalyst that it finally does need to really push higher, and for investors to finally give the nice middle finger to shorts. And so hopefully as well, that'll be a natural deterrent as shorts will get back to like that 25% range. So let me know your thoughts on SoundHound. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. I put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.